There are currently 30 active NFL stadiums in the United States of America. It is 30 instead of 32 because the Rams and Chargers and Giants and Jets share stadiums in LA and New York, respectively. Of those 30 stadiums, 27 of them used public funding to cover the costs. Now, when I say public funding, I'm talking about you guys, the American taxpayer, paying more taxes, or your taxes going to a stadium for a billionaire instead of, education or infrastructure or healthcare or anything of that sort. And while, the NFL is awesome, it is the most massive sports league in the entire world, it's still surprising how reliant they are on public funding. So let's get right into the stats. The building and renovation cost of NFL stadiums totals $33 billion in the last decade or so. That is the same amount as the United States gives out in foreign aid every year. Of that, $33 billion, the American taxpayer has covered $10 billion, so roughly a little less than a third of that money has come from taxes. And even the stadiums that are privately funded, such as the Giants and Jets Stadium, MetLife Stadium, which is an absolute abomination in terms of design, the way to get there, literally everything. It is awful. It should be reconstructed. It is a shame that cost $4 billion. But even for that was privately funded by the Giants and Jets. The state of New Jersey still gave out $250 million worth of land and infrastructure to those teams so that their stadium could get built. Stanley Kroenke, another privately funded stadium. This guy owns the Rams, the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Avalanche in the NHL, and Arsenal in the Premier League. He is one of the richest humans in the world. He fucked over the city of St. Louis. The NFL had to pay a lot of money to fix that problem. And he is married into the Walton family, who owns Walmart, so one of the richest families in the United States of America. Yet he gets over $100 million in tax breaks to, help fund his stadiums and everything like that. So, and, these are all previous examples. It is still an ongoing trend, and it might be getting worse, and if you think that this shouldn't be happening. The state of New York committed $850 million to the Buffalo Bills for their new stadium. Their total cost is supposed to be around 1.4, and usually, as from anything as like renovating a kitchen to building a stadium to building all the venues for the Olympics, like there's usually a cost overrun. Like you're very rarely going to stay in budget, or even rarer go under budget. So this is an expensive project, and the state of New York is covering more than half of it. Then we have Maryland, who committed $1.2 billion for the renovations of M&T Bank and Camden Yards, the baseball stadium. While this isn't talking about like overall stadiums and just football, that was the data provided, so I don't know how much of that is supposed to go to M&T Bank. And then you have probably the dumbest thing. The city of Charlotte in North Carolina is giving $650 million to the Panthers for their stadium renovations, which is funny because the Panthers suck. They are horrible at football. They haven't won anything since Cam Newton left, and even the last couple Cam Newton seasons weren't good. And their owner is one of the richest people in America and an absolute horrible human being, which we have seen repeatedly since he bought the team. They have fired a coach every offseason or every season, basically. He's throwing drinks at other fans. He's driving to restaurants because they made fun of him. Like, just an absolute just an absolute man baby, basically, who is throwing temper tantrums because people make fun of him and it hurts his little ego. He's getting $650 million in public money to help build the stadium. So it is an ongoing thing, and you know what? Let's be positive. Maybe there's like such a massive economical boon to a city and to an economy and to the people in that city that makes this all worth it. But as world-renowned sports economist Andrew Zimbalist says, you're basically supporting billionaires with public money because the money is not given back to the community whatsoever. Multiple studies have been done on this issue. Multiple studies have found that most of the jobs that are created don't do much for the economy because they are all seasonal and low wage. Mainly like event staff, security guards, concession stands. Those are the type of jobs available. You're not offering up like a Fortune 500, like, C-suite job to people at the stadium. And even more importantly, they are all seasonal. NFL teams play anywhere from like 10 to 13 games in their home stadiums if they make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, they either play 8 or 9. So, it's even if you host a couple concerts, like something like MetLife Stadium, they host a lot of events. I'm not sure if every stadium will host these events because, like I said, there's baseball, there's basketball, there's actual concert venues. Like, there's a lot of things available to people to host things at. So, at most, maybe an NFL stadium is being used 30 to 40 days. If it's a really high usage venue like MetLife Stadium, maybe like 60 to 70 days out of the year. That's not enough to warrant that much money if people are only going to come into town for that much. And even if they do, it's not like they're going to spend a ton of money because they're spending money on tickets, which goes right to the team. It would also be different if, like, say the city of Cincinnati said, okay, we are going to, or the city of Buffalo, the state of New York said, we're going to fully pay whatever much you want us to, $1.4, $1.5 billion. We are going to pay that for the stadium, but then we own the land, we own the stadium, and the Bills have to pay us to lease it. That's how you would actually make money from a stadium. Because that's then whenever someone wants to do a residency there, or someone wants to perform there, you get the money, not the stadium. That is how it would work in a way that it's economically beneficial to the city. However, NFL owners are notorious for maintaining leverage, whether it be with the players, with coaches, with anybody in the NFL ecosystem. And that does not change when it comes to the cities. Like we see all the time, you can just threaten to leave and you'll get a sweetheart deal. And if not, then you just move your team to a different city and spurn all your fans and just look out for your bottom line, which is once again like teams like the Rams, teams like the Raiders have done. Now, Oakland and sports is like an entirely different story. That should be an entirely different YouTube video with dedicated research towards that, so I won't touch that. But St. Louis didn't want to commit a lot of money to a new stadium for the Rams, so they just up and left to LA. And they violated the terms of their deal, and like I said, the NFL had to pay a lot of money to settle that. So, they don't go about it in the way that would, like, owners would never cede control in that manner, which is why it's a very unlikely proposition. However, that is the only way that a city would really make money. Now, let's get into how us, the taxpayer, pays for this. You can pay through sales taxes, like the revenue generated from sales taxes goes to the stadium, or they charge a little bit of a higher tax for a certain amount of time to raise funding. It can also just be public funding through normal taxes that you pay, residential taxes, and anything of that sort, or municipal bonds, where you basically buy a bond to help the construction of the stadium, and then you earn interest on it tax-free, which, once again, this does not work out well for the government and tax collecting authorities. The U.S. government has lost over $4.3 billion in tax revenue because of this this product specifically. And the biggest examples of, wasting public money, so to speak, and once again, huge NFL fan, huge sports fan, know how important it is to have those teams and those just for the fans, not economically, business wise. Those do have some tangible benefits, but just for the fans and for the sake of sport, these are important. But it's still a waste of money. The city of Cincinnati has given over $1 billion in public money to the Bengals for stadium constructions and renovations. Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, is one of the cheapest people. Until Joe Burrow got there, he never really paid a lot of money for facilities, for anything like that. In fact, they didn't even have their own practice bubble. They would go to the University of Cincinnati and practice there when it got cold outside. The 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, they are playing in the Super Bowl. They don't have their own practice facility. They're waiting for the girls hockey team to get done with practice so that they can go. An NFL franchise was doing that before the Super Bowl. That's how bad it was in Cincinnati. And please go look at the players talking about the condition of the food and things of that nature. And that's not even to talk about the fact that it's $1 billion, which in Ohio could have gone to, maybe developing public transport, which, we'll cover in a later video, but Republicans hate public transport because they're getting millions of dollars in money from oil lobbyists. Or according to the World Population Review, Ohio ranks 39th in the country in terms of student success. So maybe make your education system better so that your students like have a higher chance of success instead of just gifting money to billionaires. Then even worse, the Dallas Cowboys got $650 million or $560 million in public funding. Jerry Jones is legitimately one of the richest humans alive. He is a great businessman, as a business major, as a, capitalistic kid, so to speak, because business major, finance major. Like, what Jerry Jones has done with the Cowboys is masterful in terms of building a brand. They can't win a Super Bowl, which is hilarious. It's been 30 years, never seen them go to the conference championship in my life, which is awesome. But, they he has a net worth of $14.2 billion. The Cowboys are one of the richest and most valuable sports franchises in the world. Just off of their name, they could raise so much money for a stadium privately. Instead, $560 million in public funding. Texas ranks 38th in just schools rankings, and they rank 46th in student success. That is the bottom 5. That money could have improved things vastly for the public education system in the state of Texas. But nope, instead we just gave Jerry Jones more money. And it's not entirely like elected officials' fault for this, because imagine like you get elected as mayor of a country or of a city, like you're the mayor of Dallas, and because of you, the Dallas Cowboys threatened to leave. Like, you are losing your job immediately, and obviously everybody wants to keep their job. They want to keep that level of power, so to speak. They don't want to lose that, especially once they've attained it. So that is going to play a part in this. But in terms of just like voters and citizens speaking out, we have seen a change. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty. They have won 3 Super Bowls in the Mahomes era. They're trying to win a 4th. They're trying to go back to back to back. It would be cool if they do. The county that they're in voted against using taxes to fund stadium renovations for the Chiefs, which the Chiefs owners ranked last in the NFLPA or the players poll for, just in terms of ownership. So they might not be the happiest to break out the checkbook to build things for their players and stuff like of that nature. But 58% of voters said no to using sales taxes to fund renovations for the Chiefs, which, and once again, we talked about politics and other cities trying to use it as an advantage. They play in Kansas City, Missouri. The state of Kansas automatically said, hey, why don't you just come across the border and play here? Which, it would suck for the fans of Kansas City, Missouri. It would be good for the people of Kansas. But that's how it is. Like, NFL owners will always win, which is a little annoying, but that's just the model that they built. And that is how you, the American taxpayer, contribute to billionaires making even more money. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Peace.